Imagine being dropped into a massive open desert, climbing aboard a gigantic, half-mechanical crab, and being told just one thing: good luck, figure it out. There's no long cutscenes, no hand-holding tutorials, just endless dunes and dangerous enemies, and legs that will break if you're careless, of course. This is DuneCrawl, a unique indie game that blends exploration, combat and progression into a charming and sometimes even chaotic desert survival adventure. I really had fun playing this game, but I have to definitely mention that it does have its flaws, and that is why today I want to review it together. One of the first things you'll notice about DuneCrawl is its cartoonish-inspired visual style. The game doesn't aim for realism, instead it embraces bold colors, some exaggerated proportions, and clean, readable designs. Your Dunecrawler, which is basically a massive half-mechanical crab that you pilot across the sands, looks both powerful and oddly lovable. Enemy crabs, of course, each have their own unique visual identities, and despite the desert setting, the environments stay visually engaging with dunes, islands, and all sorts of scattered points of interest. It's an art style that ages well and keeps the tone light-hearted, even during intense combat encounters. When it comes to sound design, I have to mention the fact that DuneCrawl features no voice acting. It relies instead, whenever you interact with different NPCs, on some sort of beeps and all sort of mechanical sounds and audio cues that communicate information. And honestly, it's not that bad. Combat sounds, on the other hand, feel punchy. Movement audio is satisfying, and the minimal soundtrack stays atmospheric without ever becoming too distracting. The sound design complements the game's quirky identity perfectly without over-exaggerating. When it comes to gameplay, DuneCrawl wastes no time. You're introduced to the game through a short, focused tutorial that teaches only the essentials like movement, combat basics, and crab management, before letting you completely loose. It doesn't overwhelm you or over-explain systems. Instead, the game trusts you to learn through exploration and experimentation, which fits its design philosophy perfectly. Your Dunecrawler isn't just a simple mount, it's the core of the entire game. You'll constantly manage its health, repairs, and damage, especially after tough encounters. Poor planning or reckless fighting can leave you stranded in the middle of the desert with a crippled crab, and that's where tension really kicks in. Defeating all sorts of enemies will reward you with specific crafting materials, which can be later used to upgrade your own Dunecrawler or sold to different vendors and merchants for a hefty amount of gold. These upgrades improve weapons, durability, and overall performance of your own Dunecrawler, giving every encounter a clear sense of purpose. You also have a companion system, which is not that elaborated, but it will allow you to command an AI partner in real time to control the cannons on your crab, assist in combat, and sometimes even handle specific tasks. Additionally, you can hire also mercenaries using gold, which adds another layer of strategy. However, it's not that worth it because the mercenaries can be a bit buggy, sometimes behaving unpredictably or even failing to respond properly during combat. The world of DuneCrawl is medium, let's say, for today's standards, but I guess this will change in future updates, although it's filled with quests, random encounters, and all sorts of secrets. A small yet important detail for immersion is the fact that while you roam across the map, you'll encounter random fauna, including non-aggressive creatures, and neutral non-hostile crabs that make the world feel more alive. Scattered islands, though, play an important role in gameplay. Whenever you reach them, you can dismount and explore on foot, or using smaller mounts found on them to search for chests, solve quests, and discover new weapons that add variety to combat. Exploration consistently feels rewarding, but the whole thing can become quickly repetitive. At its best, combat in DuneCrawl is engaging and tactical. You'll juggle between movements and weapon usage, especially against tougher enemies and bosses. However, combat comes also with its flaws. Controls can feel clunky at times and slightly unresponsive, particularly during fast-paced encounters and after dodging. Missed inputs or awkward movement can lead to frustration when precision matters most. It doesn't ruin the game, but it's definitely noticeable. As I said before, DuneCrawl does suffer from some technical rough edges. Besides all the small issues mentioned, at one point my Dunecrawler became completely stuck, unable to move at all. The only solution? Well, I had to break its own leg just to escape. Good that the devs at least implemented this ability into the game, because otherwise the gameplay would have been over for me. It's unintentionally hilarious, but it highlights that the game still needs polish. Bugs aren't constant, but when they appear, they're hard to ignore. DuneCrawl is not the most perfect game, and is definitely not something that targets everyone, but a specific niche of people that love small exploration games will definitely find joy in this title. The game is overflowing with creativity and personality. Riding a giant crab across the desert while upgrading it and commanding your companions creates a truly memorable experience. That said, the game lacks strong replayability. Once you've explored the map and completed a couple of quests, it's easy to feel bored, as there isn't much variation or endgame content to pull you back in. Even the crab battles themselves are not enough. For the final score, I would give it a 7 out of 10. DuneCrawl is fun, charming and full of potential, but it still needs improvements. For example, a larger map, additional systems, or even multiplayer or PvP modes could elevate it significantly. If you're into indie games though, with bold ideas and don't mind some rough edges, DuneCrawl is worth checking out. And that's my review of DuneCrawl. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know, would you survive the dunes or lose a leg along the way? Until next time, respect.